Hi guys! Today I have a delicious pie recipe for you that you can decorate like I did, and it will be perfect for Valentine's Day. Obviously, if you don't want to make it special for Valentine's Day, you can make it also for any time of the year. Then you can adjust the decoration as you wish. And now let's get started with the recipe. Before you start making your pie, you want to do some prep work the day before. So you want to prepare the filling and allow it to cool completely. So preferably make it the day before, just to make it a little bit easier for you. And then also the dough, if you're making that from scratch, you can find it in the recipe. So you can find the recipe there. I'm not going to show it here because you can also use a store-bought crust, but if you're gonna do that, then do both of these things a day before. So prep the cherries or the cherry filling, and also make the dough. So I have my cherries here. I'm using frozen cherries because we're out of season. And I'm also adding in the sugar. I'm using brown sugar just because I love the taste of brown sugar. Also, the amount of sugar can be adjusted. I'm using sour cherries, frozen sour cherries. That's why I use quite a bit of sugar, because they are really sour. So I need that sweetness, I need to add it in. And then you can also add this, or you can skip this, or you can substitute this with a little bit of lemon zest. So I'm adding in about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we are gonna start heating the cherries over medium heat until, well, in my case, until they have defrosted and started releasing the juices. If you're using fresh cherries, then just until they kind of soften and release the juices. And then when your cherries are looking like this, so there's a lot of liquid, mine have defrosted, so if you're using fresh ones, then they should be nice and soft and released a lot of juices. Now you can reduce the heat to low and prepare the cornstarch mix. So you just want to mix the cornstarch with a little bit of cold water, just until it's nicely liquid and combined. Now I've removed the pot from water and I have my cornstarch mix prepared here. Now I'm just gonna slowly pour it in while mixing. So once again, you want to do this off heat. Now I've mixed in the cornstarch. I'm gonna pop my pot back on heat. And we are on medium heat, and you just want to stir until it starts to thicken. So that can be really fast. You can see it's already going really thick. Then you can remove it from heat. So you just want to allow it to bubble just once, which will thicken the mix. You can see it's really nice and thick already. And then you just want to leave it aside, as I said, to cool completely overnight before you use it for the pie. Now we are on the second day of making the pie, so you should have your dough ready. Also, you should have your filling ready and chilled. So it's nice and cold. You can see it's set well. And we're going to start with the dough. So I'm gonna unwrap it and roll it to fit my pie dish. So you want to take your pie dish and just measure it, and we want to roll it bigger than the pie dish, so we want parts hanging off the pie dish, and also you should have a little bit left over to make the design over the pie. So that's why you want to make slightly more dough or have slightly more dough so that you can also make the design on top. So I'm just gonna start by unwrapping my dough, and you want to dust your working surface with flour, and then you can just start rolling out the dough. What you want to do here is when you roll it, so mine is now not a perfect circle, but I'm still gonna start rolling it out so that I get it into that circle. So what you want to do to keep the dough even, you want to roll it once in one direction, and then you want to turn it a little bit, roll again, and keep doing this, so turning the dough as you roll it out, and that way it will stay round while you roll it out. So it's not gonna be long on one side and then really short on the other side. So now I have my dough rolled out. I'm just gonna show you the thickness. So I like a thin crust, but if you like to have a slightly thicker crust, then you can definitely roll it out slightly thicker. And then what you want to do is carefully take your rolling pin and roll your dough on the rolling pin. Bring in your pie dish, roll the dough over the pie dish, and then what you want to do is kind of lift it to make it fit. And you can also help with your fingers, pressing it to the bottom of your pie dish. So we're starting to attach it at this point already, and then you can also attach it to the sides. So start with the bottom and then work your way up. Then I need a sharp knife, and I'm just gonna cut along here. I'm gonna leave a little bit extra. So now I've cut off the extras, and I'm just gonna fold the dough that I left here, so the leftover here, kind of on top of my edge of the pie dish, so that it's kind of not hanging just on the top, but rather folded here on top. And then once you have your dough ready in the pie dish, you can start heating the oven, and in the meantime you want to place the dough back in the fridge. And then again, in the meantime, you want to get your dough scrapes and just knead them shortly so that the dough comes together again. And you want to roll it out and make your decoration. So whether that's a lace deco that you want to make on top of your pie, or I'm gonna cut out these hearts, 2 slices of hearts, which will go on my pie. So what you want to do here is just to roll the dough, so the rest of the dough, to a shape that fits the top of your pie. Then you know that it's going to be enough of the decoration to kind of cover the top. And I'm just gonna cut out the hearts with which I'm gonna decorate my pie. And then once you have your decorations ready, you also want to chill these in between for the time that you are baking the crust. So my oven has preheated now. I've took my pie crust out of the fridge, and now we are just gonna pierce the bottom well. And also you want to pierce the sides, so the sides don't puff up either. Then you want to grab a piece of parchment paper. I've scrunched it so that it's easier to fit. And then you just want to gently press it over your pie crust. And fill it with some weights. I'm using dried peas. And then we're just going to blind bake the base for about 15 minutes. And then we are going to remove everything from top, so the weights and the parchment paper, and bake it for another 15 to 20 minutes. And then after those first 15 minutes, you want to remove your weights carefully. This is how your pie should be looking like. So it's starting to bake here at the edges, but here it's still quite wet, so we're gonna pop it back until the base has also had time to bake. So for another 15 to 20 minutes. So you want to bake your base until it's it looks like it's baked through. So you can see it's really it has got some color even there, and then here it's nice and brown. So then you can remove it from the oven, and you want to allow it to cool completely. And in the meantime, we are going to bake those decorations also until they look nice and baked through. And now the crust has had time to chill, so I can fill it with the filling and continue baking it. The filling is also cold. And then you want to pop it into the oven first for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then we're going to top it with our top decoration, and then continue baking for another 20 to 30 minutes. So now it's been about half of the time, so about 30 minutes. I've baked the filling like this, and now I want to place my decorations on top. So I'm just gonna arrange them, and I didn't bake these right away with the whole pie because they baked already, and they are so they're not absolutely raw, and I didn't want them to overbake, so that's why we are placing them only now. And then you could do an egg wash or a water wash. I'm gonna do a little milk wash, just brushing the decorations and also brushing the side here a little. And then I'm gonna also sprinkle over a little bit of brown sugar and pop it back in the oven for another 20 to 30 minutes. So that was my cherry pie recipe. As I mentioned in the recipe, I was using frozen cherries because we are out of the season, but if you have fresh cherries, oh, why was that difficult to pronounce? So yes, if you have fresh cherries available, then you can also substitute with fresh cherries. I hope you liked this recipe, and if you did, don't forget that thumbs up for support. And also, if you like this kind of pie recipes, then let me know in the comments and I will try to experiment and make more pie recipes like this for you. If you're new to my channel, then you can subscribe right now, and if you tap the bell, you won't miss any of my new recipes. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.